Let me ask you a question. Do you like mystery, intrigue, exploration, adventure, murder, betrayal, prepositions? Well, then do I have a game for you. Betrayal at House on the Hill. Now in this game, 3 to 6 players are going to adopt classic horror genre tropes in order to explore the mysterious house on the hill. Classic tropes like meathead jock, creepy scientist, gypsy lady, or little girl. Now of course, each character has their own set of statistics in order to note that yes, the meathead jock is stronger than the gypsy lady and the priest is more sane than the little girl. Now as they explore the house, they're going to be encountering randomly selected rooms. Every time a room tile is drawn, generally a card is drawn along with it. Now it can either be drawn from the event deck, the item deck, or the omen deck. Event cards are usually tests of your different stats, like, hey, there's blood coming from that fountain. I better roll my sanity. Or, there's a creepy slasher gardener over there trying to kill me. I better roll how strong I am. Now, generally, item cards are different cards you would find in the house, like dynamite or first aid kits, stuff like that. But sometimes you could find like bloody hatchet or scalpel, stuff like that. Now, omen cards are generally artifacts and allies that give you a really good stat boost when you have them, but when they leave, you lose that stat boost or ability. But what's really, really important about the omen cards is the haunt roll. Each omen card makes you do a haunt roll, which really, if you fail it, happens to create the betrayal of Betrayal at House on the Hill. You roll 6 dice, and if the pip marks on each dice is less than the amount of omens already drawn, then you fail the haunt roll and the betrayal happens. Now, I really love the whole betrayal scenario mechanic, because what you do is you look at what room you drew the omen card in that you failed, you look at the card of which you failed, and then you take out the traitor's tome, and you look at this fancy dandy table, and you correspond the room with the card, and then you go down and you see a different scenario. Now, based upon that, you go further down the page, you see which scenario it is and who the traitor is for that scenario. Usually it could be something like a player to your left, or player with highest knowledge, or simply haunt revealer. If you're the one who lost the haunt roll, then you're the betrayer. Now, as soon as you figure out who the traitor is, the traitor takes the traitor's tome and goes into a different room. And the survivors take the Secrets of Survival book, and they both read the scenario in each of their corresponding books. Now, what's awesome about this game is there are 50 different scenarios of which could play out based upon what card you drew and what room you drew it in. Now, that's just bonkers, because generally you would think opening a game like this you'd have 20, but there are 50 of them. 50. So then, once that is figured out, and once you both read your different excerpts, the traitor comes back, and then the whole game becomes different. Whole game. Generally, sometimes it's like the traitor guy is like a creepy demon lord who has to kill you. Sometimes he's just a guy who buried a body in there before everyone got there. You have to try and find the body before the body dies. Sometimes just looking for treasure. But every single scenario has a different end game condition, and it could just change up every single time you play. So I'm not going to get into the different scenarios because it'd take an hour and a half just to read you the entire book. Plus, it's a lot of fun if you just kind of don't read the book beforehand. You just kind of read each scenario as they happen. That's what I like to do anyway. But let's get into kind of what we like and don't like about the game. What we do like about the game is each character tile, has 2 different sides to it. That means that each character could be played 2 different ways. And based upon that, based upon what character you play, there are different stats you could have. So maybe Ox Bellows, who has really crazy good might, you want to play one time, but you didn't really like him last time, so you flip him over next time to Darren Flash Williams, who has higher speed but less might, that kind of thing. Or maybe you play the priest versus the scientist. So that is a good aspect of the game. Then the randomization of the tile drawing, of the room drawing, it's a whole nother element of interest to the game, because you can start with a basic game, and then it changes every step of the way. You're not gonna have the same game twice. So like that whole thing is really awesome. And each character allows you to role play a little bit as each character, even though the characters are simple and somewhat basic, they are still very highly intriguing and just fun to pretend that I'm Mox Bellows, the quarterback of the football team, that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's very Scooby-Doo-ish, but with a lot more blood and gore. But some things that we don't really like about the game is, yes, the stats are super cool to have, but the only way they give you to demark what number stat you're on is these little slider guys that just don't even grab the card like at all and just kind of flip-flop around the entire card. So you don't even know like where you are because they're sliding around. Plus the little arrow tip doesn't even get close to the number that you're trying to denote. So it's like there's a good quarter of an inch away from the number, so I can't even see, like, it's so far away. It's just like, we're so disappointed because we love this game so much. But like, would it kill you just to have a little bit of longer points on your arrows? Would that kill you? I don't know, maybe. But that's a big fault that we see in the game, is it's really hard to see what stat you're on, which is a major part that we usually just end up using D8s to denote what number we are, just because it's too much of a hassle to try and deal with these stupid sliders all the time. I don't want to deal with it. I just use the dice. Another thing that we've noticed is if you're the betrayer or the traitor and you get to be Dracula or King Werewolf or something like that, it could be said that you might be a little bit overpowered than the other group. Because yeah, you're Dracula. You're going to move really fast, you're going to hit really hard, and you're not going to die very easy. But given the circumstances of the game, it could be really hard to kill you. And so that could be a plus or a fault to the game, however you see it. That's no fault to me. I don't mind it that much at all. But really, the best part about this game, by far, is the replayability. The mixture of being able to choose different characters each time, the randomness of the tile selection of each room, the different layouts you can do of the board, and the randomness of the scenario in which you can do, makes it so you can play this game 20 times before you get even a similar experience. And for a game, replayability is the number one thing. Because I don't want to spend $60 on a game and then be able to play it twice and be able to get the full experience. Now I can play this game many different times and get a different experience, every single time I play, which is fantastic. So if you like the horror kind of genre, you like tile games that mystery tiles of where you're going, and you like kind of a hidden loyalty kind of game where you're all kind of gang up on one or two people, then I think this game would be for you, and I would heavily suggest it. So for D6 Mafia, my name is Banis, and I would like to thank you for watching. Let me ask you a question. Do you like mystery, exploration? No? Okay.